Thank you again so much for joining us for this public meeting. My name is Cynthia Miller. I'm with Austin Water, our Community Outreach and Communications Division. And this is a public meeting to let people know about what's coming up with the Starline and Lawndale Pressure Zone Conversion Project. We are bringing higher water pressure to this part of town, and we're really happy to be doing it. We've got a great panel here to explain a little bit about what's happening, and then most importantly, answer all of your questions. So with that, we'll get started. Okay, welcome again. Tonight, we're going to first introduce the project team for this project, and then our project manager will give an overview of the project and then talk about what to expect during construction. And then we'll have questions. We'll explain how you can log on and ask your questions at the end, and sign out, making sure that you know who to contact should you have questions. So having said that, like I said, I'm Cynthia Miller with Austin Water Communications and Outreach Division. And if our fabulous panelists would turn on their screens, please, we can start introductions with Robert.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Robert Hermosillo. I am the project manager for this project, and I am with Capital Delivery Services.
Thank you, Robert. And Ray, you can turn on your camera. There you go.
Sorry about that. My name is Ray Acevedo. I'll be the inspector on site. I'm also with Capital Delivery Services.
Hey folks, good afternoon. My name is Kane Way. I'm with Austin Water. I'm the supervising engineer for the Water and Reclaimed Water Pipeline Project Delivery Team.
Hi, my name is Emery Quick. I am a project sponsor and I manage water pipeline projects with Austin Water.
Hi, my name is Gung Nguyen. I'm with Engineering Service Division and I'm the design engineer on this project.
I don't think Peter's on yet, so Ron, will skip to you.
I'm Ron Greer with Facilities Rehabilitation. We're the contractor that'll be doing the work on the project.
Okay, and let me emphasize that Robert will be there regularly. Ray is going to be there a lot. I think daily is the word that applies. So these are some of your faces that you're going to want to know and be able to ask questions of when they're there on the ground. Capital Delivery Services is part of the city of Austin as well, and they manage all of our Austin Water projects. They handle the construction part of our Austin Water projects. So we work together closely with them. Okay. So now Robert is going to give us an overview of the project and take it away.
Sure. All right. Well, again, everyone, welcome to the Starline and Lawndale Pressure Zone Meet the Contractor and Public Meeting. Next slide, please.
Yeah, again, I don't know why it's now decided it's not doing that again. So I'm so sorry. Bear with me. I don't know why, because I'm doing the same thing I've been doing the whole time. Maybe it's mad I turned off my video. Let's see. Well, here's the same. I'm using my arrow keys like was working before. And I apologize.
I can get going on the summary of the project, and then if it starts working while I'm
Ta-da!
there, it is.
That was the magic.
All right. Well, Austin Water, as you know, has developed the Starline and Lawndale Drive Pressure Zone Conversion Project to bring higher water pressure to your neighborhood, as Cynthia mentioned, and we are almost ready to get underway. The purpose of this project is to increase the water pressure for the area. Current water lines in this area have diameters of 6 or 8 inches. So we will replace them with new pipes that are 12 inches in diameter, and we will be connecting them to a higher pressure water zone. On this project, we will be installing approximately 2,200 linear feet of these new water lines. Next slide, please. Here, you can see a project location map, and it's showing our project limits. If you notice, this blue line on the map shows where the new lines will be replaced. Starline Drive, Lawndale Drive, Westchester Avenue, North Forest Drive, Havenwood Drive, and Seabury Drive. Slide, please. Timeline. Construction for the project is scheduled to begin this January, and it will take approximately 13 months to complete. We will be working in the city right away, and once installation of the water mains and service is completed, all disturbed roads will be repaved, and you will receive advance notice before repaving occurs. Next slide, please. Okay, next, what to expect during construction. Next slide, please. So during construction, expect open cut trenching, where heavy equipment will be used to dig trenches for the new water lines, while existing lines will be staying in service. Next slide, please. Additionally, there will be several stages to the project. And as you can see, this table here shows an overview of what will involve, starting with prepping and excavation, followed by installation of the new pipes, subsequently followed by laying of the temporary paving to repair any trenches that were dug up along the way. There will also be materials testing performed along with any modifications that are needed. And final street repaving would be occurring once the installation of the water mains and services are completed. Work hours, they are generally 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Friday, with weekend work scheduled if needed. Next slide, please. Right away. Most work will take place in the public right away, and in many cases, the right of way is located approximately 10 to 15 feet behind the curb, in an area that you may consider part of your lawn. So it may be necessary to remove landscaping or other personal items before your residents can be connected to the new water lines. Next slide, please. Tree trimming. Also, as part of the right-of-way slide, and regarding tree trimming, please note that the contractor may need to do some tree trimming over the right-of-way. And should there be any need for tree trimming to facilitate construction, we will always make trimming decisions in consultation with a professional arborist. Next slide, please. Traffic. When it comes to traffic, we will be closing traffic lanes for the project, but not closing entire streets. And so you will always have access to your home. For brief periods, access to your driveway, excuse me, may be limited, but crews will always be making sure that people can get in and out of their driveways. Regarding utility service interruptions, at some point, your water service will be temporarily interrupted to connect your residents to the new line, but most likely it will be for a few hours on a single day. If there will be any planned water shutoffs, we will notify you 48 hours prior to service being interrupted by placing door tags and/or flyers on your front door. And it typically only takes a few hours for connections to be completed and service restored. Next slide, please. Pressure reducing valves and expansion tanks. So after the new water lines are installed, there will be about 25 homes in the area which will need pressure reducing valves on their service lines and thermal expansion storage tank on their water heaters. The pressure reducing valves and expansion tanks, they will be helping regulate pressure to protect your private plumbing. And so Austin Water will be installing both of those tools. And that being said, if your residents will be needing these tools, you should have already received an acceptance of installation and a right of entry letter from Austin Water. And this is for acceptance. The city's offered to install the pressure reducing valve on your water service line and the thermal expansion tank near your water heater. So please, if you've received that, please, if you can review it, complete it, and sign and return it to us to the provided address on the letter, that'd be very helpful. Next slide, please. So that takes us down to questions. I think we will be taking any questions at this time. Next slide, please. And
Yeah.
so go ahead.
Oh, well, I was going to say, so I'll take it from here. And as you can see on the screen, there are a couple of ways to submit questions. And so Emily, one of my colleagues from Austin Water, is going to help us see if there are any questions and let us know.
No questions yet, but folks can type if you'll click on the Q&A button at the bottom of your bar, you can type in a question. If you'd like to ask your question verbally, then feel free to raise your hand. That's under reactions on the toolbar. And if you raise your hand, then we'll be glad to unmute your mic and hear your question.
And I see we do have one Q&A popping up. So, this is we've got two great questions. One of our neighbors says we mentioned 13 months of the project. Can we provide a more detailed schedule for the different addresses? That's a terrific question. And Robert, I don't know if you want to kick us off with an answer. I know Ron, you'll be weighing in a lot with the schedule. So we'll look for an answer from you guys.
Yes. So yes, the project is anticipated to take at least 13 months, and addresses have not been identified as to which ones would come first. And we're working through that with our schedule. So I guess that being said, I'll let Ron kind of piggyback off of that to see if he has a better idea of schedule-wise where that would fall.
As far as where we're going to be starting first.
Okay, Ron, turn on your camera.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. We forgive you.
I normally hide my ugly face. Okay. So quite frankly, we can start a water line. We can start just about anywhere. And my plan right now would be to start probably, let me get the streets in front of me so I got the names. But I can't remember them right now. We're starting on water line A, which is, if I'm not mistaken, starts on over at Chairberry on North Forest Chairberry, I guess is the name of the street. But we can, our crew, when they get out there and we start looking at existing utilities and everything, we may wind up starting on the opposite end of it because you can start either way. But right now that's the plan.
Ron and Robert, is that part of the prep work, going out there and sort of making a final assessment and helping to determine the final schedule from that?
We've actually got the schedule prepared and we'll be submitting it here shortly. But like I say, we're planning to start on Starline and go from that end, winding up over on Westchester. But quite frankly, if we get out there and we see there's something unique that means we want to start on the other end, you can start on the other end and go the opposite direction. So,
and our resident is following up and saying his question is really more to understand if we'll do the projects in segments or all together. I think you mean
there's only 2,200 feet of pipe, and the plan will be to put in the main line, because you have to test and chlorinate the entire line, and then we would, after we put the main line in, we'll run the services over to the property line. not connect them to the meter until we test and chlorinate everything. So this job will more than likely, if it goes the way we think it will, won't take us 13 months. But you never know what you're going to run into, and you start digging in the ground out there and seeing what utilities are existing that we might not know about. So, but we expect to again put in the entire 2,200 feet of main line, and then start to use the services, which again won't take that long, over to the property line. One of the first things we need to do is, in addition, is to make access to the homes to check the hot water heaters and where the pressure tanks need to go. And so that'll be one of the early things that we'll be doing also.
Robert or Ron, this might help our resident too. But I think you sort of trench out in a few, I mean, maybe 100 feet at a time, right? Or
well, we'll be trenching anywhere from our crews can do anywhere from 60 to 200 feet a day, and just again depending on the soil conditions and everything. And whatever we open up, we'll have pipe in and backfill by the end of the day. There won't be open trenches left there. At the end of the day, the streets open back up.
Robert, how do you see this laying out in terms of segments in this project?
Well, like Ron said, I think once we get out there and see where it makes the most sense to start, but it sounds like, you know, right now starting on Starline going towards Seabury would be the plan to start. But again, the contractor can assess what's the best when they get out there. They could start closer to that area or a little bit further out. But again, the contractor trenches, like you said, can go from 60 to, what did you say, Ron?
60 to a couple of 100 feet a day.
A couple of 100 feet a day. And
that gives you an idea. If you got 2,200 feet of pipe, it don't take a lot of time to get this pipe in the ground.
Right.
But there's a lot of other pieces other than just putting pipe in the ground.
Right. So it is not in, it is in sections. It just depends what they encounter out there and what makes the most sense to move to the next street or the next section. It could be it could be one section next to another section, right? Or it could be one section they move on to something a little bit further down. Typically,
we would like to start on one end of the site and progress to the other end.
Okay.
Okay, so that you got a continuous operation, and we'll start the pipe. We'll either make a connection or we install the line to where we got a valve on the end of the line, so that when we do make a connection to the existing line, we got a way to fill the line for testing and chlorinating. And so we'll make all of those determinations when we get out there. But I've got a schedule that puts together that shows it. But again, we could change that sequence once we see some of the exact conditions we're facing.
And like you're saying, you might go get all the pipe laid in, but then you're back at a segment you've already been in to do some of the other pieces. So,
each house out there, or each house that's served by that water line, has a service that comes off the main over to the property line, which is 2-inch pipe. And each of those have to be run. We'll do the main lane first, come back and do the services to the property line. All the time, we'll also be looking at what we've got to do at the houses for the pressure tanks, and be able to get those installed so that they're ready to go when we're ready to tie in everything.
And I'll just to elaborate on something you said that might go whizzing by people who haven't been through this before. You referenced sometimes you don't know what you run into in the ground. And it is pretty astonishing what people run into in the ground that wasn't reported, or who knows what. And that might mean that, you're rerouting while people figure out what to do about that certain object or facility in the ground. So that's why there's so many variables, and it's really hard to say. But I think overall, it's one big project. but it's broken up into segments to use the language that the resident was using. So it's happening in sections, but it's several pieces that happen in sections sort of repeatedly. And I hope that you'll type in if we're not getting at what you're asking. We really want to answer your questions. So please type in if you have more follow-ups.
Cynthia, I wanted to just add a little bit on this. I'm Emily Chancellor. I'm also in our communications group at Austin Water. So I know you've heard from the technical folks on the project, but on the communication side, we will be working to provide updates. So while they're still like working out the details of exactly where they're going to start in January, we will be announcing that through the email updates. And so our hope is that you're not surprised that we're showing up at a certain intersection on the day the project starts. So we'll be providing those regular updates. If they have to pivot because of something they've mentioned in this description, then we'll be providing those updates also.
Yes, excellent point. And there's a lot of, please sign up for updates at the end of this. But we may just take the liberty to sign you up for updates. So like Emily said, we'll keep trying to get that information out, as quickly as we can through an update system.
I'll read the next question. Are water lines under driveways? And if so, will driveways need to be torn up?
I can answer that. Sometimes the water services can be under a driveway, and if it is, yes, it will have to be removed and replaced, a section of it. Again, I haven't looked close enough to see specifically on this one, but it's not unusual. Typically, the water line is going to be going to your meter, wherever that meter is located. The meter should be located approximately at your property line, behind the curb, behind the sidewalk, maybe, but it should be at the property line. And obviously we try, and the city tries away from the driveway, but we have had occasions where they run even across the driveway. But the new ones will try to go straight to the meter without hopefully being in your driveway. But there could be occasions we got to get into a driveway. If we take something out, we replace it.
And the resident who asked if you would like to put your address, if you're comfortable putting your address in the chat, we can keep you informed as the contractors figure out some more specifics about driveways. Yes, sir.
Cynthia, Ray will be out there and our supervisor will be out there daily, and
okay,
we'll be communicating with the residents. The residents are going to know where we're going. You can't miss us.
Yeah, we'll be there.
and you'll know where we're going. And once you see us started, you'll see the direction we're working, and it'll be a continuous operation. And we'll put the main line in. We'll come back and start putting in the services. You'll see this operation. It comes pretty clear once we get out there. And again, we'll be communicating with the residents daily.
Yeah, and our folks really are good about that daily communication. There was a question about someone else asked if new lines would go to the property line or the meter. So I think you just answered that question, but I hope that you'll let us know if that did not answer your question.
Well, again, the property line, the meter should be at approximately the property line. But again, some of these meters may or may not be exactly where they're supposed to be. So that's where they're supposed to be.
And then we've got another question, this one about trees. If a water line is under a heritage tree, will you air spade or remove the tree? So Robert,
Hey, Cindy, can I speak to that?
Yes, sir. If you turn on your camera.
Go ahead, Peter.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. At any rate, I'm Peter Morales. I'm the Ray's supervisor. Just to put your mind at ease, we've got a project right now in the Zilker neighborhood where we're having to dig a new water line trench within 30 feet of the oldest tree in Austin right now. So we have a lot of measures we take. We get with the homeowner. We bring in an arborist if we need to. But before we get to that point, we'll definitely look at it and, see if we need to take some special action. But yeah, you're correct. If there is the water service or something needs to go underneath the heritage tree, then they would air spade. However, like Ron keeps saying, it depends on, we'll go out and look at it. And anytime there's conflicts there may be a flower bed or some type of nice garden right behind the curb. If we have to go through that, then we'll usually come knock on your door and we'll talk about it and we'll work something out so where we don't just, we're not going to come in and just tear your yard up and leave. And we're definitely not going to cut any roots on a tree. We're not technically, by our code, we're not allowed to cut any root larger than the diameter of your thumb. So we're very well versed on protecting trees, especially heritage trees. So I think hopefully that puts your mind at ease.
That Peter sure got off of camera very quickly there.
Well, he
Let us
did.
let us know if we're answering your questions. Please continue to. Here's a follow-up. Is there any risk to the home water lines from debris during construction? That's a very good question.
Occasionally, Peter, you want to answer or you want me to?
No, and Ron knows the answer to any house that's older than about 20, 25 years in Austin is going to have lime scale on the plumbing inside your house. Now, so long as your water's never been shut off, the pressure keeps that lime scale toward the outside of your house. Now, when we have to do a shutout, to make a tie-in or something like that, that lime scale tends to fall off your pipes. Well, we can give a flyer that Austin Water has that basically tells you how to flush your lines to try to minimize having any problems with that. So that would probably be the only impact. We are not going to tie in a new water line to your house until it's been dechlorinated and it's acceptable for potable water use. So there's not going to be any debris from our construction. But again, whenever we have to shut your water off to do any type of tie-in or whatever, you may have some lime scale fall off your pipes in your house, and all you have to do is basically remove the screens from all your faucets, go to the farthest faucet away from your water meter, turn that on, let it flush. You need to get the air out of the line anyway. And then if you run water through your bathroom, sink, whatever you have, a screen on, you should remove all that debris and you shouldn't have any issues with it.
I just want to add tie-in is water jargon, construction jargon for connecting the main water line to your service line. So when people are saying tie-in, they mean they're tying those two lines together, connecting those lines. And again, another plug for signing up for the newsletter, because we do include tips about flushing your pipes when we get to that time, when it's useful to remind people about that. So hopefully everyone will sign up for the newsletter, because that's a ways away. Okay, these are great questions. Keep them coming. Oh, here's a good one. What is the current water pressure and what is the target pressure? I wonder who knows the answer to that.
I got this one. The current water pressure on the north zone is 43 PSI. So we'll be converting that to the high pressure zone, which is a northwest A. And that'll be on average runs about 111 PSI.
Wow. I have a follow-up with that, which is, does that mean it's 3 times basic? What does that mean to the average person? Is that 3 times as intense of a pressure or what?
I mean, it's definitely double the pressure, and that's why we're going to be installing the PRVs to regulate the pressure inside the home.
And a PRV is a pressure reducing valve, and that is set normally around 55 to 65 PSI. So it'll protect your internal plumbing as well.
Kane, do you want to explain a little bit more about the PRVs and then the tanks? We went through that pretty quickly, but.
Sure, we can. And so with the new project that's bringing higher pressures to your home, we just want to be cognizant that some of these homes are a little bit older and might have pipes that may not be able to handle 100 psi, something that extreme in terms of like doubling the pressure. And so what we've included in this project, which is standard, is to install a private pressure reducing valve just downstream from the meter. And that will be private, that you will own, but Austin Water will install that for you. And that'll help protect your private system from having any pipe bursts or breakouts, anything like that when you're converted to the new pressure zone. That'll be for about 25 of these homes in this area that will see that. They'll get a new water service and then get this pressure reducing valve. And then the final thing that Cynthia mentioned was this expansion tank. And so what that is due to code updates in the plumbing code, when a new pressure reducing valve is installed on a private system, there's no longer that connection back to the city water line that will help equilibrate or even out some of those pressure fluctuations on your water heater. And so Austin Water is also going to provide an expansion tank. We'll take care of the installation, but that will require us to bring a private plumber into your house to just tie in this expansion tank. It is a safety feature that just kind of absorbs excess expansion of water when water is heated. And so it just helps protect, it's another layer of protection for your system. But Austin Water is including both the pressure reducing valve and the expansion tank installation with this project. So you won't have to pay a dime for any of that.
Like Robert said earlier, if you've received a letter through which we've asked for permission to do this, sign it and get it back so that we can make sure to do that piece of the project for you. Or if you have more questions about it, follow up. Okay, these are great questions. What else? I'm wrong, but I think we should be able to sign up all of our participants to our email newsletter. Is that correct?
I've put the link in the chat. We don't always get email addresses for folks who attend the meeting. It depends on what their Zoom settings are. So I've put the link in the chat. And so if everyone would go and sign yourself up to get these email updates, that would be the best.
Gotcha.
And you might want to go to your contacts slide too, so folks can start taking a screenshot of that maybe.
Yes, exactly. So let me get us going here to the next slide. Again, please do sign up. The easiest would be to go to the chat, since Emily's put the link in there, or you can sign up at the webpage that we've set up about this project. And we need your help. We want everyone to know what's going on. And like Ron said, folks are going to be out there daily, and so folks will get to know them. But if you are out and see your neighbors, please do let them know that you participated in this meeting, that there's an opportunity to sign up for updates by email. And if you can help facilitate that would just be terrific. Here's what Emily was referencing. Here are key contacts for this project. Whoops, what did I just do? Oh my goodness. Let me go back to that page. Here are key contacts. If you all can copy those, just screen capture those. That's Robert, our project manager that you heard a lot from, and Ray, or the construction inspector, and that's me, Cynthia. And you can email any of us or call any of us. If you want the information for another panelist, we're happy to send it to you. But I'm going to linger on this as our last slide. Any more questions? I don't see any more popping up in the Q&A. I don't see any hands raised. Okay, well, hopefully everybody's screen capturing this information, and we look forward to hearing from you and helping to improve your water pressure. Thank you all so very much. Panelists, anything else that you want to add?
No, I think it was a good meeting. I appreciate all the attendees that made it, and their questions were excellent. So we're looking forward to the project, and again, the plan is to be out there in early January, actually be doing some preliminary work within the next few weeks, but starting work in early January.
Yeah, these are really great questions. Oh, okay, hold on, another one. Let me see what this is. Oh, it was just a thank you. You're very welcome. And I agree with Ron. These are terrific questions. Thank you all very, very much.
I'll
for your
second
participation.
Ron to thank everyone for making the meeting, and we look forward to starting the project, and we will definitely be in touch in the field, and the contractor and our inspector will be there on a daily basis. So feel free to ask any questions if they're out there in the field. Appreciate everyone's time and making the meeting.
Okay, thank you all. Let us hear from you. Good night.